Good morning, Kasturians, and welcome to video 5 of chapter 1 of history, that is, the rise of nationalism in Europe. In this video, we will see the revolution of the liberals, that is, the Frankfurt Parliament, and the unification of Germany, Italy, and Britain. So, let's start. As parallel to the revolution of the peasants, the poor people, and starving people, the educated middle class were also leading the revolt. The 1848 February events, they have brought about the failure of the monarch and a new demand of constitutional monarchy, in which the monarch will confine to the constitution was under its way. In combination to this, the men and women of the liberal middle classes, they combined their demand for constitutionalism, and they also started demanding for a unified nation. As in case of Germany, in the German region, very large number of political institutions and associations, they were formed, and the members of these associations were middle class professionals, businessmen, and the prosperous artisans. They all met together in the city of Frankfurt, and they decided to create an all German National Assembly. So for this purpose, on 18th of May 1848, some 831 elected representatives, they organized a procession, and they organized the Frankfurt Parliament, which was organized in the Church of St. Paul. There they drafted a constitution for German nation, and which was to be headed by a monarch who will be subjected to the parliament, that is, he will be guided, or his powers will be controlled by the parliament. The responsibility to head the new unified German nation was offered to Frederick William IV, who was the king of Prussia, but Wilhelm he rejected the proposal, and he joined hands with the other monarchs to oppose the elected assembly. The parliament, the Frankfurt Parliament, was opposed by the monarchs and the military. Also, since the parliament was having all the prosperous middle class members, so they rejected the demands of the poor peasants, and they lost their popular support. Ultimately, the troops were called in, and the assembly was disbanded, that is, it was dispersed. Now, from the very beginning, the women, they were also participating in the revolt, but they were not given suffrage, that is, the right to vote was not given to them. As we have seen, they were considered as passive citizens. And even in the Frankfurt Parliament, the women were admitted to observe the proceedings, and they were allowed to stand in the visitors gallery only. But although this Frankfurt Parliament, it failed, still the monarchy, it gave a clear signal to the monarchs that they no longer resist the changes which are in demand by the revolting people. So they started adopting and introducing the changes which had already taken place in the Western Europe. Now we will see the unification of Germany. As from the Frankfurt Parliament, when it failed, it is clear that the monarchy was powerful, and monarchy, it was re-established by the conservatives. So the supporters of monarchy were conservatives. These conservatives, what happened, this revolution, it turned its face, and earlier national sentiments, they were associated with the revolution, but later on the conservatives, they drove and they changed the direction of the revolution, and now the revolution was aiming to achieve political domination and to promote the state power. In this regard, we will see Germany. Now, how German unification came into force. See, Germany, the process of unification of Germany was taken over by Prussia, and the German Confederation was actually a patchwork of some different states, and this patchwork was to be converted into a German Confederation, from a German Confederation into a nation state. And this nation state, the new German nation state, will be governed by an elected parliament. So how it will take place, or how it all happened? Basically, the combined forces of monarchy and military of Prussia, and they were supported by the large landowners who were known as Junkers. So this Prussian, the army supported by the Junkers and the monarchy of Prussia, they took on the leadership, and it was headed by the chief minister Otto von Bismarck, and he is considered as the architect of the German nation. He fought three wars with Austria, Denmark, and France, and these three wars, which continued for around 7 years, they ended up with the victory of Prussia. And in January 1871, William I, the Prussian king, was declared the German emperor in a ceremony which was held at Versailles. The new state started a different nation building process in Germany. The currency was modernized, banking and legal and judicial system was also modernized, and the Prussian measures and practices became a model for the rest of the German unification. Like Germany, Italy was also a patchwork of different nation states. Italy was divided into seven states, and out of these seven, only one was ruled by the people of Italy. That is, you can say, the inhabitant of Italy, Sardinia Piedmont. The ruler of Sardinia Piedmont was an Italian. The remaining six states were under the control of non-Italian dynasties or non-Italian royal houses. Italy, the attempt to unify the Italy was done earlier also in 1830s, when Giuseppe Mazzini, who was a revolutionary, he tried to unify the Italy as a nation, and for this he formed a secret society called Young Italy, but he didn't succeed. And the uprising or the revolutionary movement of 1831 and 1848, it failed. So after the failure of Giuseppe Mazzini, king of Sardinia Piedmont, that is Victor Emmanuel, he took the initiative, and he appointed his chief minister Cavour to go for this process of unification of Italy. Prime Minister Cavour was a very diplomatic person. He entered into a diplomatic alliance with France, and ultimately, with this diplomatic alliance, the army of Sardinia Piedmont, it defeated the Austrian forces in 1859, and in this, not only the army but a large number of armed volunteers, they also joined the army, and the leader of such armed volunteers was Giuseppe Garibaldi. In 1860, they marched into Italy in the south, and then they annexed the kingdom of the two Sicilies, and ultimately the local peasants, they granted their support to drive out the Spanish rulers. And after all these wars, Victor Emmanuel II was proclaimed the Italian emperor, and apart from the illiterate local peasants, the educated Italian population, they also gave their support to the army, and finally Italy was unified, and Victor Emmanuel II was proclaimed the Emperor of Italy in 1861. Now we will see the unification of Great Britain. Before 18th century, Britain was a nation by the name of Britain was not there, and basically in that region only the English, Welsh, Scottish or Irish people were living. These people, they were having their own cultural and political traditions, but with the growing wealth, importance and power, the English people, they became more powerful, and they wanted to extend their influence over other nations. So the English Parliament, it seized the power from monarchy in 1688, and then they decided to make England as the center, and a new nation state should be created, and for this the Act of Union was made between England and Scotland, and the formation of the United Kingdom of Great Britain took place. That is, English people or England was able to impose its influence on Scotland, and in the British Parliament too, the English people, they were dominating the Parliament, and they suppressed the Scotland people's culture and political institutions. Similarly, Ireland also met the same fate, and Ireland was actually, when we see Ireland, it was divided before it became a part of the Great Britain. It was divided into the Christians, that is the Catholics and Protestants. The English, they took advantage, they helped the Protestants to establish their dominance over a Catholic country, and the Catholic revolts against the British were suppressed, and it was Wolfe-Tone who was the leader of the Catholics. So he tried to revolt, but the revolt was suppressed by Britishers, and the United Irishmen and Wolfe-Tone, they were all killed, and ultimately Ireland was incorporated into the United Kingdom in 1801, and that was a forceful incorporation. So a British nation was forced, and in that nation it was the British culture that was playing the dominant role, and the symbols also showed the dominance of the British or the English. A new flag, that is the British flag, which is also known as the Union Jack, the national anthem God Save Our Noble King, and the English language, they were promoted, and the older nations, they survived only as a subordinate. Older nations means Scotland and Ireland. Now we will see the visualization of the nations. Actually, the artists, at the time when the revolutions were going on, the artists, they found a new way to represent a country as a person. That is, personification of the country was done by the artists, and especially the female figures were taken. Why? Because the abstract idea of nation in a concrete form, that is a composite form, was given by women, as women are more compassionate. They are considered to be more compassionate and more beloved to their associates or to their people. That's why the nations, they were always portrayed by the artists as female figures, not as male figures. So in this we have the French artists, they used the allegory of Christian Marianne, which is a very popular Christian name. Why? Marianne means the all the people, they are all belonging to the same nation, and it will convey that it is the people's nation. That's why the artists, they renamed it as Christian Marianne. Also, the characteristics of Maria were liberty and republic. Similarly, in Germany, Germania became the allegory of the German nation. When we see Germania is shown wearing a crown of oak leaves. Why? Because oak leaves, they stand for heroism in the German nation. That's why Germania is the female allegory of the entire German nation, and she is shown wearing a crown of oak leaves. That is heroism or people's courage or bravery, due to which they were able to drive out their enemies, and now they are a free, independent, and unified nation. That's all we have in this video. Have a nice day.